so we understand. I'm Mark Topkin, the beat writer with the Tampa Bay Times. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Two quick questions of many, I'm sure, over the course of the spring. What led you to pick the Rays? I know you've got some previous connections. You've expressed an interest and want to be on a winning team, but you had other opportunities from what we've heard. Why here? Why now?
Yeah, I think, you hit it right on the head there, Mark, with the opportunity to win and win now. I don't think it's any secret trying to, win a World Series and somewhat, I guess, if you want to say chase it. But I think really that's once you've been there a couple times, that's and fallen short, it's really it's kind of become like an obsession. That's the only thing you want to get back there and finish it. Really, that's it. And I think Tampa was our best option and opportunity to get to that point. So, it's day one of camp. So, I mean, it's meeting everybody and getting to see some familiar faces and getting to know some new faces has been good.
And what role did Cash play in your career back in Cleveland? There's been some references to he gave you some pretty good advice, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, obviously, he's had the if you want to call it that catcher's mindset where he sees the field. So when I had the opportunity to work with him in Boston, when he was there, I think maybe in his final years playing, and then was able to work with him in Cleveland as the bullpen manager. So we shared a lot of things about just preparation and slowing things down. At the time, I think I was 33 years old, but still, before I made this third act, I guess if you want to call it, at the major league level or professional level or of starting, we had some really good talks in the bullpen about just anything from life in general to how important it is to go out there and be ready on a consistent basis every single day. And again, it's the theme of everybody who's been able to have longevity and success in this game is knowing who you are. And what I mean by that is knowing what you do best and sticking with that, not really trying to, vary off of that too much. There's always time for trial and, trying to try new things, new pitches, being creative, but you're not going to really kind of get away from what makes you successful. And we had talks along that line.
Hey, Rich, Adam Barry, the beat writer for MLB.com.
Yeah.
At some point in person. Wanted to kind of, you touched on the idea that this team could win and win now. I'm just curious sort of what was your impression of the Rays from afar, and especially as they're going through the offseason, the opportunity you might have here as they watch Morton go and traded Snell, just sort of what appealed to you about the fit and this club still having a chance to win.
Yeah, I think it's if you look at the way the rotation has come together, obviously the success from the front office and what they've been able to put together, I guess if you want to call it pieces of the puzzle, and get guys in the locker room who are committed to each other and the group as a whole, and focused in on the team goal, which is winning a World Series. But with that, in fact, it's kind of how do you go about it and get there, and it's just day to day. Today's day one, tomorrow will be day two, and I know it sounds kind of cliche, but that's so true. And also in that, having a great atmosphere of being able to play with a certain kind of freedom, and with that freedom, you'll start to see guys become more creative, and using that creativity will bring success. So, that's kind of what I saw from the Rays last year. And, it's anybody's series, as we've seen over the years. If we go back to, let's think, the Cardinals, I think they had 81 or 82 game win season in was it 06? They end up winning the World Series. And then a couple of years ago with the Nationals, 81, 86 games or whatever they won, getting into the playoffs is what matters. And, obviously there's a little bit of pride in winning the division. And that is extremely important, from my perspective, and able to carry that over into the postseason and having that kind of edge. But, also once you get in there, it's the team that makes the least mistakes wins. It really is. And it's not going to be any different in 2021 than it has any other year. So doing little things the right way here in spring training, whether it's even shadowing PFPs or pickoffs, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, not just going through the motions. And certainly that's something hopefully we all can accomplish here in this spring training, and make sure that we're doing the little things right and staying on top of what we need to do. And again, bring the intensity when we go out there to play.
You mentioned creativity. Obviously, the Rays have been known to get creative with their pitching roles. Just sort of what's your view coming in starter? I mean, what would be your willingness to pitch behind an opener if they asked, or anything along those lines? Yeah,
I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? It's just kind of see where tomorrow's first bullpen of spring training. So we'll take day one and then go from there. But, want to help the team win, and not just help the team win, but be a big part of it. And I think being a big part of that is leading by example and going out there. I always talk about, intensity and passion, and you got to have those two things to go out there and compete. And I wouldn't be doing this going into age 41 if I didn't have both of those things.
Hey, Rich, this is Neil with the Race Radio Network. Welcome. Tell me what conversations you've had so far with Kyle Snyder, and what those conversations have been like, and how maybe he can further benefit you this year in a Race uniform.
Yeah, some of it, is between us, just with pitching and strategy. So I'm going to keep that between us. But I think, overall, just continuing to emphasize that creativity side of what I'm able to do and have the ball come out of my hand. Again, the way that I want to, but with the feel of what the game is dictating. So being able to have that freedom that to use that creativity. I get it. Granted that there's been some good years, and being 41, you're kind of given a little bit more freedom to do that just because of time and age, and earned it. You've been able to earn it. But also I'm always looking for some percentage point to get better. Talking with a few guys a couple off seasons ago, we would talk about, even if we can get 1% better at the major league level, that would be like substantially getting better at, the high school level. Let's say it would be like 50 to 75% getting better at, just to put it in perspective on how important it is to continue to kind of push the bar to improve. And again, improve on your strengths, continue to make your strengths extremely strong. And also, improve on some of your weaknesses. But I think that, it's going to be a really exciting season working with Kyle, and just bouncing ideas off of each other, and being able to use some of the kind of the new advanced technology that everybody's been diving into.
And you mentioned winning, and winning now is really important. The Rays also have a reputation of having a really good training staff. How much did that go into your decision-making process in terms of how well they've been able to keep guys healthy over a full season?
Yeah, I think that's one of the major selling points here. And, with their massage therapy, their dry needling techniques, a lot of the little things that are, soft tissue, trying to keep everything at an optimal performance level for, the entire season is extremely important for everybody. And especially, as we get a little bit older. But I think it's something that, it was definitely something that played into it. I think the one thing that you can tell from an organization over my experience in years is communication, and that's for any business. And here the communication has been top notch so far. So like I said, today's day one, so it's been good and exciting to get back out there. I think going back out there yesterday and just even how much seeing the fields and coming from the Northeast in the snow and everything, but being able to put cleats on again and hear it underneath the it sounds a little mushy, but I enjoy it. I love all of it, and that's why I continue to play.
Anything further for Rich?
Yeah. Are you rejoicing in the fact that there's going to be a supposedly deader baseball this year?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's, jury's still out on that one, I guess. We'll see.
Has the game, in your view, gotten a little too skewed toward the hitters, and it's about time to turn that around?
Well, I mean, I don't want to play sides, or it's only going to sound like I'm favoring the pitchers, but I think if we open up the strike zone a little bit and we kind of continue to, force a little bit more early strikes in the count. I understand, let's get the pitchers to throw more strikes, right? But by enforcing the strike zone to kind of widen a little bit, I think we could also start to see, hit and runs, bunts, getting the guy over. And honestly, the consensus, to be honest with you, Mike, is that the overall feeling that I've got from friends and family and fans that I've talked to is that, yeah, seeing home runs is almost like, watching the NBA and just watching guys throw three-pointers up all the time. It understandably has a point to it, but, strategically, if we want to continue to grow the health of the game, we might want to rethink where we are right now. And I think that's something that I'm not the only one who is, I feel like I am fortunate to have a platform to actually voice that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thanks, Rich. Good luck over there.
Thank you.
Hey, Rich, it's Steve Carney from stp9.com. I'm curious, because of your time that you spent with Andrew Friedman in Los Angeles, when you got to the conversations this offseason with Eric, how much of a similarity you saw between the two, and how much did that affect your decision to come here?
Yeah, they're a big similarity, I think, with between Andrew and Eric, but also I think the care for putting a team together that is going to win, and understanding how that is going to be accomplished, to bring in the right pieces, and also the urgency to win. I think that's something that a lot of people want to find out, how the Rays have been able to do it over the course of going on 2 decades now with success, right? And it's bringing in the right guys, I believe, and seeing that here in this locker room with pitchers and catchers, and understanding how the line of communication is open, and guys that really love to play the game and are good at playing the game. It's not, we can get a bunch of people that love to play the game that aren't very good, but we got a bunch of guys that love to play the game that are pretty good, very good, and again, the effort and the attitude are the two things that we can control on a daily basis. And again, I know I'm getting off the question, but we have a bunch of guys in here that, as long as we do that and we continue to have a good attitude and bring a high effort, we're going to be pretty good.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Hey, Rich, given where you're coming from, where you live and where you went to college, what do you think of the Super Bowl?
Oh, I loved it. I was so pumped for Brady. I'm a Tom Brady fan. Wasn't really, necessarily want to say a New England Patriots fan, because growing up they weren't very good. But then when Robert Kraft took over the team, changed the entire dynamic of the organization, and just to see his success over his career and the consistency that he's brought each game, and that effort. Again, it's the same kind of, you see that intensity, you see that effort. It's not off-putting in my opinion, because it's real, it's not fake. He goes out there with everything in his being to be successful, and I think that's something that everybody enjoys seeing, because that's what you pay the money to see. You pay the money for the ticket to see that. You want to see the player go out there and give everything they got, and to see a guy be able to do it over 20 years is extremely impressive, and at such a high level. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
And just a little bit of a segue here, but you were first drafted in '99. You started playing pro ball in '02. Have you had a chance to reflect on both some of the personal things that have happened in your life professionally, just to still be where you are and still doing this at this juncture, and what you've gone through, like I said, both on and off the field?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes try to continue to just keep moving forward and not look back too much. But I think the one thing is just the perseverance. You can use some kind of, I don't know what you would call them, kind of cliche words, but the perseverance, the willingness to continue to keep getting up. It really is true. It's just, you're going to fight injuries. You're going to have, crappy games. You're going to have great games. You're going to have times where you're sent down or out of baseball. And I think all of it just continues to push the envelope of how much do you want to continue to go through that next wall. And those are put up there just to see if you really want to continue to keep going. And I think that's something that I look back and I see where, whether you have to get to the finish line crawling with your teeth, like, I'm going to do it. Like, there's not really any, quit. So I think that's something that I look back and have kind of seen a consistent theme, where it's a continuation of a fighter in a ring, where, you got to just keep punching. And that's how I feel. I think looking back, I haven't, really put any markers on, an end point to playing, because I would like to continue to keep going. But I also know that if it's not going to be, if it's going to be detrimental to the team and not contribute to the team winning, there's also going to be, the idea of, knowing that as well. And knowing that if the ball isn't coming out of my hand the way I want it to consistently, and that will ultimately lead to, being able to contribute to a team success.
Gotcha. And last thing, real quick, you were asked about role with the team. Also, they do shift a lot here. There was always that famous clip of you that gets played a lot. I assume you're okay with that in right situations. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something that, as long as it's proven to be the right call, and look, sometimes I think what happens is, and I've talked with coaches and front offices, we don't see the ones that get hit up the middle, where we have, let's see, a shortstop sitting right behind second base, and if we played traditionally, it would have been a hit. And I see a consistent amount of those go to right over the bag to second base for a your untraditional 6'3". So, but yeah, I think, as far as the shift is concerned, it's something that I'm definitely in favor of with the analytics and how things are. And the other side of it is, front offices put a lot of time into finding out. They're not just going to throw things out there and say, hey, let's just try this. I think we've learned that over the last 5 years, especially when it's become much more of a implemented staple to every team. So, understanding that from the players' perspective, my perspective, that the front office wants to win just as much as, we want to win as players. It's a good feeling.
Hey, Andy, did you have a quick one?
Hey, Andy.
I did. Hey, Rich, how are you?
How you doing?
Are you worried that the acoustics at the Trop will hurt your standing in the community if people can hear what you're saying on the mound?
Oh, no, hopefully, I mean, Andy, I hope we can just get back to having fans in the stands. I think that would be great. I think everybody needs a reprieve of, the last year and just the players need the fans and the fans need the players after going through last year. It really is something that I'm looking forward to, and having those intense moments in the 0-2 counts, or, runners on second and third and 2 outs in a big situation. It's one of the reasons why you want to play at the highest level is for that kind of, juice, if you want to call it.
Yeah. I imagine like during the postseason, you watched a fair amount of the Rays.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like what stood out with some of the arms you're going to be playing with, guys like Glasnow. Like what was your impression of them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the land of redwoods over here. There's a lot of tall guys, big arms. It's going to be exciting. I mean, I'm excited to work with those guys and see them go out there and bring that kind of intensity that try to have wherever the team is that I happen to be playing on. But I think that's something that you see the ability, and now what they've been able, and I've said this before, and you've heard me say this before, is that what they've gained in experience from last year, they can carry over into the 2021 season, and therefore it's not a season of, oh, it was disappointing. It's a season of, look what we've gained from playing through the division series, the ALCS and into the World Series. So it's something that all those guys will carry that from last year and see it as a challenge to finish the job.